Okay, I must say this video has been a challenge to get through, not because I don't want to get through it, but because I keep getting calls. What do you know? So let's do this. So we're going to talk about the generative stacks, which is basically their form of chords, um, and just take a look at it. I'm in the key of B Dorian. I would switch this, but I'm in the middle of a project and I don't want to switch my project around. So I'm just going to use B Dorian as just an example. It really doesn't matter if you use whichever one you choose to use. It'll be fine. I'm going to put this down to one chord there. Okay, so this is a triad. That I can see is pretty clear that you're using a triad here. This is pretty standard chords. I'm going to move this to B, and it's in scale, like I said, a B Dorian. So anywhere you move the root note is going to be, and the root note means the first note in the chord. It's the root. It's going to stay in that whatever it's minor or major, right? So if you touch your mouse here, I want you to look down here. If you run your mouse anywhere across there, you'll see this is B minor. So that's good. They tell you. I wish they would tell you up here. I think it would be a lot better if it was more visible up here when you see a chord. This is saying you got one chord in here. What you can see in this 2 bars, there's one long chord. If you want more, you just hit this button, the plus, right? So here's 2. You'll see it divided it. Now if I do 3, 4, it divided it in 4. So you can do that. Then you can go back to the first chord, select that. And you see if I select it, it just shows me that one chord here. Now I can just change that chord. Again, if you want to know what you're looking at, look down here, it tells you. So this is a B minor 9. I'm going to pull it down. This is a B minor 7. This is a B minor 6. And back to the B minor. So if you can learn, I think it's kind of, all right, this is my feelings. It's kind of dumb not to put the chord name with all this space over here. You could put the root note here, say B, and then over here, or you could just put it on, I don't know, on this thing here itself, but put the chord here, not down here, because that means I have to constantly, and that thing is small down there too. It does tell you the scale degree. It tells you the chord notes that are in it. Okay, so let's say I want to go 1 up. That's 6. That's 7. By the way, 7 has 4 notes in it, so that makes sense, right? This one doesn't make sense to me. It's a 9. I don't get why they didn't put an extra note in there. They just pushed it out, but whatever. We'll leave it. Okay, so if it's in the root here and you hit the inversion button here, it will move the root note. So this inversion here is moving the root note first, then it's going to move the second note on version 2, and version 3 would be the third note, right, in the chord. 1, 2, 3. That's your 3 inversions of your chords. Okay? Any other inversions, that's on you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. All right, so duration is how long the chord holds for. So if it's just going to be a bar, that's what that is. I mean, I don't know if that's a bar, but that's what it looks like, right? 1 1/4 of a bar. I mean, I guess that's what it's doing, is counting that as a bar. It's technically not a bar because a bar would be all the way out here, but whatever. And then you can offset it a little bit. I probably wouldn't use that, but whatever, that's there. One way to do that too, another way to do that would be just go humanize. Right? So you could do that. Maybe you could, and then you can do it in live and take it down a little bit. Okay, so now there's no, it took away that because I think so I'm just going to do this. All right, just duplicate. All right, so there we go. All right, let's minimize, bring this in back a little bit. just a little bit. All right. So let's go back to the first inversion of this by getting rid of these notes. Okay, so here we are. Now what it's not doing, or that I wish it was doing, let's see here. Turn off the scale, hit the fix scale in there because that'll drive me crazy. Just so I can move a note off a little bit. All right, so again, there's that, right? So now let's move this a different, you're moving it within the scale. So here we're moving to a C sharp, which is fine. So now we are, if we look down here, we have a C sharp minor, right? That's where we're at. I'm gonna go up to a, what is this? A C sharp minor flat 9. But you notice it's keeping everything in the scale. So this will work if you don't want to mess with Chord Palette. Chord Palette is free, by the way. The dev that made it, he made it free. So don't feel like you have to get it. Don't feel like you don't have to get it. It's kind of nice that you don't have to pay for it. That's for sure. Then this one, I'm going to change the root note. But I'm staying within the scale. I'm going to drop it to an A. And then I am going to change this to whatever this is, an A sus4, but I'm going to invert it. See, I'm going to invert do first inversion. So you can see how this is not completely hard to get. You can get it. It's just going to take you some time, especially if you don't know chords. It might seem a little confusing. If you keep this on 1 after you get how many chords you want, and you keep this on 1. By the way, you could start with your root notes already there in place, and then probably add to them. I think that's a possibility. Okay, so here you are with another B again. So I'm just going through, or let's change this to. Sorry if it's going fast, it's driving me crazy too. All right, so go back to the first inversion of that. Okay, so this is now, where are we at? A5, major 7, add a 9. Okay. Let's use the invert here on the 1, the first inversion of that. All right, so here's what we have. So you see how you can make some chords pretty quickly off of that. Now, what you can do too is do the humanize, adjust them a little more if you want. Or you could go into transform and use the strum feature. So let's say on this one you want to strum a little bit that way, and this one you maybe want to go that way a little bit. Maybe back that way. And then the last one maybe this way. All right, so now you have okay, let's talk about this bottom thing. So randomize allows you to randomize the notes, right? As we said. So this was set to about what, 40 when we first started? Whatever it was all the notes were together. Hold on, let's do this. I have to go back and try to, let's see if I can go back and get them where they were all together. Sorry if I'm having to click back 100 times. Uh-oh. think I might have accidentally deleted our stuff here. Okay, so the goal was to put them all back together. So this may not look like what we had before because I accidentally did too many undos. My bad for undoing everything. But you see what I mean? How you can move these down to adjust them, to give them some variation. All right, so now let's say you have, I'm going to delete this side. Let's say you have 2 of these, but you want them to sound a little bit different. So let's talk about the few ways you could do that. So that way they don't get to be so repetitive. So highlight all of them, right? And maybe bring the velocity here down to -22. So this way when it plays through, and we'll do it over here. It'll change it up a little bit. It's going to hit each note's going to hit a little different. Now it's over here. So that helps. But there's also another thing you can do that's really good, and that is the randomize. So we're going to go to each one, and we're going to randomize it a little bit different. Randomize that way. Okay. And then this one, like that. All right. And then we'll go to the other one and we'll leave it the same, the regular way. So let's hear it now. Same 4 chords here that are here. See it? Do you hear it? I should say, not see it. So just by changing up the randomize on the velocity, the deviation on the velocity, and then maybe doing some strumming and a little humanization, you can make the chords come to life. And you just took the same 4 chords, played them twice, made them sound a little bit different. And you could continue to do this. You could do it another time, maybe randomize them a little bit different. The idea is use as many of those features as you can, especially if you're going to draw in chords, to get them to randomize, to get them to sound a little bit different. So I just wanted to show you that you can learn this stuff. I'm not going to mess with this too much, but you can fit things to scale. So let's say you play a chord that's out of scale. Like if this one note was out, but you want it to fit to scale, then you could just go up here, highlight the notes, or just highlight the one note if you want that's out of scale. And it's supposed to go to scale, and it did. I think it dropped. Okay, so that's out of scale. See, it drops it one note down. So now it puts it in scale. So that's pretty good if you're playing something that's let's say you're playing a melody. I would use that probably for a melody more or less. I'm playing a melody or something, and one of the notes just happens to be out of scale, then I probably would be like, okay, let's fit it. Let's try that actually. We're going to put these together and join them. You got to use the override if you're going to play on the same one. I'm going to play random notes in here. But what I'm going to purposefully do is play them. Wait, where are they? We're going to play here. All right, we're going to play up in this octave. Up here. So that way we don't mess the chords up. So I want to be able to show you how you can do it. So let's hit record. That was so disastrous and purposefully done. All right, so here they are. This hot mess that I played that I don't even know what I was playing. So if I select all those and I hit fit to scale, now it's going to move them where it's going to move them down to the nearest one, right? So now listen. Now I purposely did that way wacky doodle out of scale to just show you that you could do it, right? And then you could always humanize that a little bit too. Maybe adjust the notes just a little bit just to give it, if it was like, you know, especially if you draw it in, you might use the humanize on the drawing more than if you play them. But you see what I mean? Like you can adjust the notes to fit to scale. Now you know that at least the notes are in the scale. Anywho, simple as that. Just wanted to show you that right there. Let me delete this. So let's say you just play something too. You could also do this. You could play. Hold on, let me go here. I'm going to record that. This is to show you this part. I'm going to actually delete what we did here. I'm going to start here. I'm going to turn the click on so at least I have somewhat timing on it this time. And then I'm going to show you how you can record something way off and then fit it right back to scale. So we'll just go right here so you can see it. Make sure you have this set though before you do it, or it definitely won't work. All right, so that was that. Notes was all over the place. Some might have been in scale, some aren't. Obviously the ones that are on purple, they are. Like these Fs aren't for sure. Anything outside that. So then what you can do is just go select all, and then you could just do fit to scale. Now it's gonna push them down and put them in. That was terrible playing, but you get the point, right? You could do some simple chords. Because all you know, let's say all you know is the white keys to play. You could do that and then still fit them to scale. So, all right, so you could. Okay, so go into here and then go fit to scale. Pretty simple, right? It's crazy. So, you know, just mess around with it if you have this thing. Set the scale first. Always set the scale, then do your playing, and then you'll see that you can create a lot of crazy stuff, right? Doing this. So I think that to me the generative feature is going to get better. But like I said, my biggest complaint would be just them labeling portions. Just label them and stop, and don't put it down here, because nobody's gonna, I mean, not that nobody will look down there and read that, but I'm gonna be honest, I can't even hardly see that without squinting my eyes a little close. Put it up here. I understand they have the plus minus here, so it may be challenging, but there's space here where they could add just what that note is, or just put it up here so that you know what chord it is when I highlight it. You know, you can know. You see how it took that and changed it so you could do this and just highlight that. Now listen to it. Sounds better. I just took from playing some all white keys to fitting it to scale, and then using the generative pack, highlighting just the one I want and just adjusting it and adding it into another chord that sounds better than what I played. And boom, there you have it. I mean, that sounds better than what I played, in my opinion, at least. Oh, this thing is pretty good, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, if you don't have scaler, you don't have all these other little gadgets that you could use to do it, this is pretty solid. And like I said, I could just play anything and then get it to fit the scale, and then go back in and just use these generative tools to adjust what I play, just the parts that I feel are off, or maybe could use a little, maybe it could sound a little better. Then the other thing is, like I told you, use the deviation and use the randomization on here, which I didn't use. So you could do that and adjust those notes out a little bit if you wanted to. I actually think I'm going to leave it where it was because it was sounding pretty good. So there you have it. All right. I'm not going to be using this. I'm just letting you know that's what I would do. What I would do if it's, once it sounds good, roll with it. If it doesn't sound good, then maybe do extra work and adjustments. All right. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about Ableton Live 12 rather. I'm sorry. It should drop tomorrow, the 5th of March. And if you are interested in getting it, it's definitely a worthy buy. I think right now is maybe the last day or so for that sale they got going on. So get on that sale if you really want to get it. It's better to buy when it's on sale, and get that 20% or whatever they're giving off. All right. That's it for this video. I'm out.